So Houston should be doing good from what I know. Now, what that means to me is that it is still going to be a competitive job market for companies that are trying to recruit because maybe people have options, right? If I don't like this option, then I can move to another option that I have in place. So I do believe that there will be some difficulties finding the right candidate, not necessarily related to how they promote their job opening, but maybe the fact that there's a lot going on in the economy. But today is about, okay, given the fact that there is a competitive job market out there, what are the things that you should be doing right to be successful attracting the right candidate to your company? And I know, Victor, that you have some very interesting stories. So I guess we can talk about the first one,
Okay.
poorly written or dated job ads. I have a couple of things to say about that, but
Okay. All right.
go ahead and tell
So
us. Yeah.
poorly written or dated job ads. In the old days, I'm talking about circa 2007, 2008, when I worked in recruitment advertising at the Houston Chronicle.
Uh-huh.
Everyone would look at the employment ads. And by the way, that was one of the biggest sections in the Chronicle. If you guys remember, it's like
Mm-hmm.
everybody bought the Sunday paper to circle all the ads that they wanted to call or apply to. Okay.
Uh-huh.
Uh, Sunday newspapers would sell like hotcakes because, again, everybody was looking for the paper as the primary source of employment. Okay.
Gotcha.
Those days are gone. Those days are gone. What happened is at the Houston Chronicle, we did a partnership with Yahoo
Mm-hmm.
to sell a bundle with your ad in the Houston Chronicle, the print ad on Sunday. You also had to buy a digital ad in Yahoo job board. Okay,
Okay.
that was mandatory. That just came
Okay.
down overnight. It's like from now on, this is what you got to do. Okay,
Okay.
no exceptions. Well, we had a major revolt inside the from
No.
the advertisers that they were saying, but wait a minute, it's like I need to run this ad, but I don't want to do the digital ad. Okay, so then they changed the policy to on a as per case basis, and in the end, it's like it was all over the place as far as the policy. But I want to digress back to poorly written ads and dated ads.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Everybody was copying everybody as far as ad writing, and so your ad didn't look much different, other than the company, other than the salary, other than some of the specifics. Ads were all look-alike.
Yeah.
And so when I came on board they called it the desk. Your desk sold so many. My desk sold an average of 1.2 million up to like 1.5, and that was, guys, that was like intermediate.
Hmm.
There were ad reps that were selling $10 million and up, where they handled the big corporate accounts. That because you committed to advertise the entire year, you got preferred rates. But again, we're talking about a lot of money that in those days you had the luxury of maybe rolling the die and
Mm-hmm.
having a poorly written ad and still having some sort of traction, some sort of conversion to be able to have job candidates. And again, uh, when I came on board, I said, this is crap. It's
Right.
like if I was a job candidate, I wouldn't even be motivated to call this company. So I started to creatively write ads that the ad would break on Sunday. By Monday, they were calling me to stop the ad because they had so many candidates that, excuse me, it created such a problem for them that that people were calling and emailing resumes, because again, and it wasn't so much that I was so great, it's just that I made it stand out different, and I started to write ads based upon the qualities that were required for the job. Now, this is where psychology comes in, and of course, using my psychology background, I
Hmm.
could speak to the candidate in such a way that that they would want to, at the very least, inquire more to get more information about what the ad entailed. I'll give you guys a specific case that I had years ago before I was doing recruitment advertising. I was working with a company that they had 150% turnover. Okay. Do the math, guys. That
Wow.
means that if you hired 100, 150 quit.
Rotating door.
Yes. Now, given the company and the product, it made perfect sense, because what they were doing was they were recruiting for those salespeople in department stores that sold those Jingsu knives. Okay. Remember
Yeah.
walking by a department store or grocery store, and you had a show of people selling Jingsu knives. Okay,
Yeah. Yeah.
you had guys that were making over $100,000 working part time.
Okay.
That was the small, highly producing, high performing individuals. And so what I did is I had them fly in all these top performers, and I wanted to know, what do they all have in common? It's like, what do they perceive themselves as? And what it turned out to be was that they viewed themselves as performers, as actors. They were just
Mm.
putting on a show. They were just acting out. They weren't out to sell
Hmm.
knives. They were just out to put a great show. And I've even bought Jingsu knives. Okay, I don't know if you've ever walked by one of those show people, but if
Yeah.
they put a really good show, one, they disrupt your attention, right?
Yeah.
Especially if they got like a little crowd, and then you get sucked into the story and all the benefits of having those knives, and of course you end up buying. I mean, I'm a sucker for that.
Yeah. So it was about the demo, I guess, on how the knife.
Exactly. It was
Yeah.
putting on a great demo, a great performance, if you
Hmm.
will. But again, the number one thing that I put in the ad is wanted actors. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. And the good thing about what you're saying is that you actually did your homework.
Yes.
Because at
Yes.
the end of the day, these
Yes.
recruitment ads are like any other ad, and
Exactly.
if you are in the business of copy and pasting job descriptions, then if you keep doing the same thing, you're gonna get the
Yes.
same results, right?
Yes.
So
Exactly.
nothing changes there. So
And all of
my
us know that you must do some sort of research, some sort of data. You must have some sort of data, some sort of intelligence to craft an effective advertising campaign. So let's go
sure.
ahead and dive into it.
Well, and
So
the
Jose, go ahead.
the other thing though that you mentioned, Victor, is being specific. You aren't looking
Very
for
specific.
any
Yes.
type of salesperson. You are looking for somebody who could put on a show and an
Yes.
actor, which then, of course, you attracted the right candidates.
And
Think
it,
of actors, guys. Think of
yeah.
actors earning $100,000 working part time. Who wouldn't want a
Well,
gig like that?
yeah.
Right.
Yeah, not bad at all. But the other thing is, the fact that well, like I said, you did your homework,
Yes.
but after that, craft the ad. Uh, just like any other ad, you test
Exactly.
it. You run it. You check it
Yes.
with your peers,
Yes.
see if this is working, and once you're sure about what you have, then I
Yes.
guess you can put it on those directory listings, and then allow maybe like a week or 2 weeks to see how the ad is performing.
Yes.
Because if you don't think it that way,
Yes.
you are pretty much doing the same thing without understanding what is really driving people to answer any
Exactly.
specific ad.
I went a
So,
step further, and I even trained the people that were handling the inquiries and the recruiter. They had a dedicated recruiter on how to profile even deeper. This is what I
mhm,
taught in law enforcement, how to profile for character traits that were required, because I had created a composite model of the ideal candidate And so of course it was no wonder that the rest is history. It's like their sales went through the roof because they no longer had the high turnover, but now they had some really high caliber talent that was really pushing the product.
I guess the message here is don't take the lazy approach of copy and
No,
pasting other
no,
job descriptions and think
no.
that I got a job description now. That's a typical, very repetitive mistake that I have seen in my experience. People do it. Just copy, find another a
Yes.
profile, and then just get
Use
that
AI.
start.
Use
Yeah,
AI.
or make minor edits, right, to
Yes,
it, and then you're set.
exactly.
I don't think it works that way. But so we have problem number two, attracting the suitable candidates. I
Now
know that
think
you have
about it, guys. So attracting the suitable candidates for this particular client is I wanted to know from these top performers that they flew in. It's like, what do you enjoy the most about what you do? They
mhm.
enjoyed the travel because you could travel. You could set your own
Oh,
schedule. You could because you had contracts with different brands. Say, for example, Dillard's. You could travel throughout the region, work
mhm.
a day in one city, uh, move on the next day to another city. So it's like they really enjoyed the leisure of travel and
Mhm.
work to be able to do. They love what they did. So
The,
yeah,
the 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 perks of the job, I guess.
absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Michelle, you had something to say about attracting suitable candidates.
Well, I was going to say the difference today when we look at problem two of attracting suitable candidates, we have to think about developing those uh, the job descriptions not only for the applicant, but now we also have to think about making those job descriptions searchable. So when that candidate is looking for a role, that those job descriptions include the keywords that the applicant will be using to search for the job.
Exactly.
Right. So back in 2008 or 2009, we only had to worry about, or we only had to think about the applicant looking through the Houston Chronicle in making those job descriptions attractive.
You had a
So
captive audience. You had a captive audience, and it was just basically many people just looked at how much does this pay. Okay. Now,
absolutely.
back in those days, the headline had to be
Right.
clickbait, right? In
Absolutely.
the old
Right.
days, the headline is like what grabbed your attention about the ad to keep reading. And of course, with the SEO came with Yahoo Job Board in
Mhm.
crafting titles for the ads that would grab the attention of job candidates.
Right. We have to think about the search results and using the keywords and having them strategically placed in that uh, job description so the spiders pick it up.
I, I,
Exactly.
I, I would say also that we need to be careful about distinguishing or making a difference between the ad and the job description. I know that they are related, but we have to separate those two. I mean,
Yes.
those are two different things that are obviously part of that new candidate that you're looking for. But treating an ad uh, maybe or actually is very different from an HR guy
Yes.
writing the job description. You see what I'm saying? And
Yes.
those are two
Totally.
different skill sets
Totally.
that need to happen. And you described at the beginning the success of you trying to understand who were those people or who were those successful candidates for the client that
Exactly.
you are working. An HR person not going to do that. So again, I mean, just to making sure that we understand that those are two different skill sets that need to be integrated uh,
Totally.
to make a successful campaign for recruiting people. And I'm going to be talking about that a little bit more at the end of this interview, by the way.
Okay.
But Michelle, you had something else to mention about this, and that is ATS, I believe.
Right. So, what many companies are using today is AI to screen resumes
Yes.
and applicants, right? So, that's where it becomes very important that your resume is using the right keywords. So, when the resume goes through the system, the ATS system, the ATS system views you as a qualified applicant, right?
Tell
So we
us what
need
the acronym stands for. What does ATS stand for?
ATS is applicant tracking system.
Okay.
Okay.
So when you submit your resume through these ATS or applicant tracking system, it's going to pick up the number of keywords that are used and making sure that how you appear on paper
Hmm.
matches that advertisement that's being published online, making sure that
Yes.
there's a match, which then goes back to making sure the applicant reads the
Yes.
the ad and making sure that their resume that is submitted uses those keywords. So we're matching, we've got a match.
Yes. I was recently hired to work with the son of one of my clients because he's a new grad of U of H, and he's got a degree in business. And so what you're saying, Michelle, is very true. And they even, we were looking at the Indeed platform. They even have a section, a filtering section at the end. It's like, do you have these particular skills? Again, to so that the algorithm disqualifies you if you don't,
Mm.
specific to what the advertiser is looking for. I recently found out that a lot of the jobs that are listed or Indeed are really non-existent. It's like they're fake jobs that have been scraped from other job boards that may or may not even be available. So
Jesus.
that's what it's come down to.
And you know what? And related to this is also where you place that ad, right?
Yes.
I have, experience with other colleagues that actually have used YouTube
Hmm.
to advertise jobs, and they have been very successful at doing so.
Interesting.
Yeah. And the thing is that, once you advertise jobs on these platforms, such as Facebook and all the others, I mean, that you're going to get, a lot of unqualified
Yes.
candidates, but that just comes with the way the system works. I mean, you
Exactly.
you you almost have to acknowledge that you're going to get a whole bunch of people
Yes.
that may not qualify, but the reality is that you have to be out there and you have to be promoting
Which
those
Yeah,
positions.
which is a waste of time if you don't have the right candidates. And again, it's even more incumbent that you try to create a very synergistic and very vertically integrated ad strategy to where, again, you're getting enough qualified candidates to be able to look at the pool to be able to hire from.
Right, right. So, are we ready to? Okay, number three: employ a data-driven recruitment strategy. Michelle, this is yours. You're the
Right.
data person here.
So, right. So when we think about a data-driven recruitment strategy, we need to take a look at those KPIs. Well, first of all, we need to think about, well, what are our goals? Um, what metrics are we going to measure? So there's a number of different metrics. It could be everything from source of hire. So which source provides the best candidates, the quality of the hire, time to hire, a variety of different metrics that can be tracked throughout the recruitment process. So we always need to start with what are our goals, what KPIs are we going to measure, and then based on those goals, we want to see where we are today, where do we want to be, and identify those gaps. Like anything else, we have to measure the KPIs, we have to measure our metrics to determine our performance. So how well are we doing with our recruitment strategies, right?
Okay.
Yes. For job candidates, Michelle, why is this relevant? It's like, what do job candidates that are applying for some of these jobs, what do they need to be aware of? What should they know? That on the back end, this is being automatically done through AI.
Hmm.
Correct. And there's going to be information that the candidate doesn't know, right, about the ATS system and about the metrics and things like that. I would say from a candidate's perspective, they would want to take a look at how long has the job been open? And
Yes.
you can usually see that today if you go to Indeed, Glassdoor, LinkedIn, and you can start to see how long it takes that company to fill a job or how long that job has been open. You can also take a look and see how many employees are at that company. So if you see a small company and they have a significant number of jobs open, right?
Hmm.
But that company only has 0 to 50 employees. It might give you an indication of whether that company is on a fishing expedition or if those jobs are actually realistic.
Yes.
You can also, the nice thing about searching for a job today is we have LinkedIn where you can actually contact people within that company or people who have similar job titles. You can ask them about the position, if it's somebody at that company or somebody with a similar job title at a different company. You might reach out to them and ask them about their job search strategy. What is the average day of life of somebody who has this job? So you can collect information that way.
Yes. Excellent advice.
So the red flags for those individuals that are looking for a new job, right? I mean, how long has that job been open? I mean,
I had a
what?
friend recently that
Oh yeah.
she was looking for a job board. They were advertising for her job.
Oh my
Wow. Right.
god. That is
And she had only
she
been
had a
with the
bad day.
company. She had only been with the company for 1 week.
Oh
Right.
wow. Oh my
Yeah.
god.
This is what it's come down to.
Okay, no,
You know,
all right. Well,
and
it
the other
is.
thing too is with LinkedIn, we can make it's very easy now to do a search for that, a particular company and start looking uh, who has previously worked at that company, who currently works at that company. And for those who previously worked at that company, you can do some research. And if you find a number of people who have tenure of less than 1 year, it might give you some indication of what the culture is like.
Totally.
Gotcha.
Totally.
All right. Perfect. That was a hilarious story, Victor.
This is your section, Jose. You never know what's gonna come out of my mouth.
Yeah. Oh my god. What a disaster. But anyway, problem number
Oh,
four.
and the story continues is when she went
Oh,
to her
there's
employer and
more. Okay.
she says,
We
"Look,
need another
I
show
know
for
it's
this.
not working out. I know it's not working out. Let's just shake hands and be friends." So they parted
Yeah.
ways.
All right. Well, building a strong employer brand. So many things to say about this, and when I thought about it, I my mind went back to that flywheel
Yes,
that we had talked
yes,
about before, and the fact of generating systems that
yes.
can actually make you effective on the things that you do, right? I can see like HR, marketing, and all different departments having their own flywheel, and what I mean by that is uh, HR in a way needs to understand the value of marketing, and I'm sure they do, but the
Especially when it
fact,
comes to big budgets, Jose. When you got you're spending a lot of money, as companies did with us at the Houston Chronicle, and you're not getting enough candidates to in the pipeline, then again there's a problem. That's where it becomes a top priority to look at the quality of the systems that they have, and that's where we get into the verbiage of messaging.
right, the systems, and the fact that some companies may be allowing HR to handle everything related to recruitment. To me, is a
And that's a
mistake.
mistake. That's a
It is
mistake.
a mistake, absolutely.
As a consultant in working with trying to fill key positions, HR
Right,
doesn't really have the whole picture. HR
they
is just
don't.
about making an offer and getting people into the system.
And the worst thing that may happen is HR trying to tell marketing
Yes.
how they need to do their job. I mean,
Yes.
that I seen that happening also, and
Yes.
that's a big mistake. I mean, they need to work together, and that is to me the beauty of generating that flywheel, that system that can actually optimize the way you recruit people. So making sure that marketing and HR are aligned in terms of the mission, the vision of the company. This is what we are promoting out there. This is what we are communicating to the public. This is the way we handle marketing internally. We want to make sure that we are building brand ambassadors
Yes.
with the employees that we have already here, because at the end of the day, they are part of that marketing mix. I
Yes.
mean, just like Michelle, you mentioned, the beauty of LinkedIn. You can get in touch with someone that works in the company. That is internal marketing in a way
Yes.
happening right there. So if that guy is not happy, I mean, what type of feedback are you going to get, right?
I gotta
For
share a
that.
funny story with you guys.
Yeah. Okay. There you go.
Okay.
I once interviewed at a company, and again, everything looked good. And I asked the interviewer, I said, "Tell me, if you were in my position, would you go to work for this company?" She said, "No."
No. Okay.
She told me all the dirt on the company. I said, "Well,
Got
thanks
it.
for being honest and candid with me," and I
Mhm.
passed.
Yeah, well, people talk,
Yeah,
and if you don't know the insights of the company, you
exactly,
will find a way to know what's going on inside.
Well,
Uh,
and
exactly.
so go ahead, Michelle. Sorry.
and to add on to that, so when people go and they do their research on a company and they start looking at the tenure of employees and they see that it's 4 months, 5 months, 6 months, it's less than a year, is it that the company didn't do the right ad, right, and explain themselves correctly? So that's always, and so now they're recruiting the wrong candidates, or is it actually that there's maybe something else going on, but you don't really know? All you have is the metric of maybe low, high attrition, and
Right.
right. So it goes back to hiring the right fit, including the right fit for that culture.
Yeah, and
I gotta give you guys the secret sauce for this particular lady, the owner of Three Man Movers.
uh-huh.
The number one reason for her success in having a highly motivated workforce and driving the company from 3 million to 40 million was having employees that were self accountable. What that means is that
Mm,
the way she put it is, if I have to hold you accountable, I'm coddling you. It's like, I shouldn't have to hold you accountable. You should be accountable for your job, and your team that you work with will hold you accountable. Everyone is held accountable in team processes, so that again, it's a well-oiled machine, that they're doing their performance as according to company standards and what the company has, and they're very generous with profit sharing.
mm.
Who wouldn't want to work for a company like that, that everyone is accountable for doing their job, and at times helping out because they want in on the bonus, so that you have a highly motivated workforce.
Yeah, interesting you say that, because just yesterday I had a meeting, or I was in a presentation by the former president of HEB, and he basically emphasized, how they see employees and how they call them partners,
Yes. And
and
that's a totally different mindset, because if you look at a partner, you're going to look at him differently than just a number, just an employee.
right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, and how, I mean, he didn't go too deep into the HR part of it, but just by hearing the guy talk, you can understand that there's a different culture
Yes.
inside the company and how they view the people that actually perform the jobs, at the different stores. So I know that we reached the limit in time,
Yes.
Victor.
So
Definitely a very,
if you are an employer, if you are a candidate, and you
Yeah,
would like additional information, reach out to us. We're readily
sure.
available to help you out in whatever needs you have. Jose, how can people reach you?
So they can shoot me an email at jose@imaginacommunications.com. And, we can go from there. But yes, I mean, Houston is a great city to live in. I know that the job market is competitive, and I know that schools recruiting teachers, that's
Yes,
a challenge. It's been a challenge for quite some time, and it continues to be. So, I mean, there are different industries that are experiencing different challenges. So recruitment, I know that is something that is still hot in the Houston area. So, but
yes.
definitely we can help with that.
And of course, reach out to me, Victor at victorescalante.com, and I'll be happy to help you out. And Michelle is just going to be a cheerleader.
Yes,
Yeah,
absolutely.
All right, guys.
Opposites of both.
awesome.
That's going
All
to do it
right,
for today. Be sure to tune in next week for another very interesting conversation. Go out and have a great week. Happy Easter Holy Week. Bye bye.
happy Easter. Bye bye.